Well, we could propose running some simple lab experiments with the types of wires that can typically be found in airplanes. But since we eventually want to send a fairly complex signal down a transmission line, the sine wave modulated by the pseudo noise sequence, and we want to analyze that fairly complex reflected signal that we get, so then it might be instead useful and helpful to start with a computer model of the problem so that we can first understand how the system will work and how to analyze the reflected signal. And then after that, after we can predict the signals and develop a way to effectively analyze them, then we might be ready to actually run some physical experiments. And then we can see if our predictions are correct and we can test it out. Now, at this point, we're in a bit of a conundrum. We should be asking for funding to develop the proof of concept demonstration, but in order to write a strong proposal, it really helps to do some preparatory work so that we can clearly understand, plan out, and justify what we want to do. So we want a strong proposal, so we're going to do some prep work. This isn't really preliminary work. We don't have to actually do the research, but we need to at least familiarize ourselves enough so that we could write a strong proposal. So to help us write our proposal, let's first consider how we might create a computer model of the waves that propagate down the transmission lines and reflect off the faults and the loads and so forth. And if we can figure out how to create such a model, we could then propose to use it to develop the STTDR system. So how are we going to create the computer model? And in order to create this model, we need to give the computer some equations to solve. So what equations should we have the computer solve in order to model the voltage and the current waves traveling down a transmission line?